Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of Hey, That's Easy, the variety show showcasing topics that are helpful and easy. I'm your host, Lawton Luntz. Episode 3 features entrepreneurs, the small business owners loving what they do. My co-host is Ava Anvari. Welcome. We have some great stories and guests tonight to talk about their small businesses. I'm very excited, Ava.
This is so exciting to see entrepreneurs thriving, surviving during a pandemic, hearing their story. I hope it inspires a lot of people. And I just want to mention, I know lots of people are having power outages across the country. So we are thinking of them. Hope they're staying warm and safe. And thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. Thank you, Lawton.
Absolutely. Yeah, positive vibes for sure. I mentioned in the open that this is a variety show, but also a collaboration between the University of Phoenix, yourself, and the communities team from Xfinity, which would be me. Ava, what's the latest going on at University of Phoenix?
Always exciting to be at University of Phoenix. We've been around since 1976. I know a couple of our guests tonight are actually alumni, which is really cool. So we're going to spotlight them as well. But I'm going to keep it easy tonight. University of Phoenix offers courses, degrees, certificates, master's, undergraduate, even doctoral, in business, education, nursing, technology. Courses are only 5 to 6 weeks long. A free application. We offer our career services for life support. So that means you can get help with things like resume building, job searching, things like that. So that's for life. And, like Comcast, we offer a reduced tuition to hundreds of companies out there, alliance companies. So you can visit phoenix.edu, go to ways to save money, tuition, ways to save money, and then enter your employer, and you could be one of our alliance businesses that gets a discount. So that's very awesome. But again, just a great time to get started. We can help you piece together that degree, free application, lots of programs. And I believe we have a barcode maybe that you can scan there. Oh, I would love to help anybody out there complete that degree, start their path to an MBA, master's. Now's a great time to get started. You would just hover over that barcode like a menu at a restaurant now, right? And you'll see a link pop up, fill out the form, and I can help you. So I would love to help anyone out there complete their degree. Thank you, Lawton. And tell me what's up with Comcast. What's the latest and greatest with our alliance member there?
Always never a dull moment, that's for sure. There's always something going on, and at least in our channel, we're really focused on Xfinity Mobile this year. One thing I can tell you is if you head to the website xfinitymobile.com, you can see there's actually an Xfinity Mobile calculator. So what I've been doing is encouraging those that have Xfinity Internet. You already qualify, so go to the website, check it out, and put the figures in your calculator yourself. You know, if you have there, and you can see it on the screen there. If you are with a competitor, feel free to put that information in, and then put the information in that would be likened to what your service would be like with Xfinity Mobile. And hey, you never know, you might end up saving yourself some money. Now, I know a lot of people will say, well, Lawton, you work for Comcast. Of course, you're supposed to say that. I'm also an Xfinity Mobile customer and extremely happy. But there are others out there that feel the same as I do. Take a look.
Hi, my name is Nicole Mendy with DHS Management, and I have Xfinity Mobile. I love that it connects to the Xfinity Wi-Fi anywhere I travel, and I get great service even when I go up north to visit my cousins in a very rural area. I love that it's also very inexpensive. I have the pay by the gig, and I put the unlimited data on my husband's phone alone, and my bill is under $100 a month, and he's on his phone a lot. I would highly recommend checking this out and getting this great deal for yourself.
You see, don't listen to me. There are other people out there that actually enjoy the service, right? So, and shout out to Nicole. She's a property manager up in Waterford, Michigan, and she was willing to submit that testimonial to us, which was really nice. And she loves our service, and as she explained.
Great when you can get a testimonial from a happy client. That's awesome.
I know. It's great.
Where's Hugo when I need him?
Well, hopefully he's watching tonight. One thing I do want to mention, we talked about all the great guests tonight. Coming up tonight, Trina Boyd, really interesting story there. She's going to stop by and talk about her idea that is changing the way many parents get immediate childcare. And Diane Mraz, she's going to be on here to talk about her business, making it through the pandemic with sweet treats, right? So we got a lot of great stuff coming up. Up first, though, I'm happy to welcome one of my colleagues, Mr. Eric Williams from Detroit Made Incorporated. Eric, thanks so much for joining us. listen, Eric checks all the boxes for this show. He is a University of Phoenix graduate, right? So that'll make Ava happy.
Yay!
He's a wonderful colleague of mine at Comcast. How long have you been working with Comcast, Eric?
20 years in my first stint, and now I'm on my second year, my second stint. I know I look 15, but yes.
Exactly. And it's not like you don't have enough to do. In addition to all of what Eric does, he has a small business, but this business has a vision of changing the perception of Detroit. And as you can see, I'm fully represented tonight with the Detroit Made Incorporated. Eric, talk about, where did this idea for the clothing line start?
Always having it in the back of my mind, but, being born and raised in Detroit, Northwest Detroit, coming through the Detroit public school system, all of that. Detroit has always been a part of my heart, and it's always a part of my heart. Detroit has been a world-class city, with the influence of cars. Everybody has a car. Even in Black History Month, Detroit was significant in the Underground Railroad. Second Baptist Church down there in Greektown was a stop for the Underground Railroad before they proceeded to Canada. Motown. Everybody knows Motown. So Detroit has a rich legacy. And again, we had a bad rap. You can find trouble anywhere you go. But again, Detroit has been a world-class city. And it started with just the concept that I had, and my life kind of mirrored Detroit, because I like to say we went from bankruptcy to rebuilding to right before the pandemic, a renaissance. And, unfortunately, as life happens, I went through a divorce and, had to move in with my mom. And then, with Xfinity, want the job outsourced. And so, just rebuilding and starting over, I wanted to leave a legacy that was reminiscent of Detroit. And so I said, what can I do? And I came up with a line. I said, Detroit Made, we're real city, real people. And it speaks to the perseverance and the diligence of the citizens of Detroit. Because as Detroit goes, the region goes. So you don't have to be from Detroit to be Detroit Made. If Detroit has influenced you at all, then you're Detroit Made. And Detroit has influenced the world. So got together, did a logo with my kids and stuff, went through the whole process. And here we are.
I love it. And I love the fact that you mentioned the Renaissance too, because several people have commented to me that hadn't been to Detroit in a long time. When they come here and see downtown and some of the things that have evolved in just the past couple of years down there, it's an incredible Renaissance is such a perfect word for that.
Yeah. So again, a Renaissance city, as the old Renaissance Center is now the GM headquarters, and how it's burgeoning down there. And hopefully we'll come back through after the pandemic. But again, it just speaks to the tenacity and changing the perception, because it takes all of Detroit and the region and the state to be Detroit Made and become that world-class city again. So we just want to play our part in that and convey the message that we're Detroit Made. We don't quit. We don't stop. We overcome adversity. We're a real city, real people, and we will be a world-class city and influence the world. And that's the legacy I want to leave behind with our brand.
I love
So
it.
we've got this Renaissance going, and then the pandemic hits, right? So your business is up and running, and then the pandemic hits. So how is the business? What has changed with your business since the pandemic?
That's a very great question. So again, looking 15, but being a baby boomer, I'm not always as technology savvy as I should have been. So again, the world went digital overnight. So you have to learn how to pivot. So I pivoted and began to increase my technology. I hired a coach that coached me through Instagram and all these different apps that I had to do to learn to become relevant again. And so that helped me through the pandemic. And through the pandemic, people were shopping online more, believe it or not. And so sales actually increased. I started shopping on Amazon. I wasn't an Amazon shopper at all, but I was like, is this what you all been doing? And so, I was like, wow, this is wonderful. And so, people tease me now, I get more packages than my mom. But in business, it transpired digitally. So you had to become online and become online savvy and increase your digital awareness. And that's how I survived through the pandemic. And actually, business has been great. Yeah,
and I noticed you added quite a few items. What is the most popular right now?
Right now, the ladies love this. Ladies love their bling. So the bling is pretty popular right now. Yeah. So, and I did some fraternity colors for African American community. They love their fraternities. And but that was the new one that I added, and it's pretty popular.
It's a family affair too.
Colors, Laker Nation down there, right?
I see it. You see it.
Yeah. There you go. So,
we got to go up and see it. Detroit Made.
Go.
You got it right over the shoulder. I was going to say it's a family affair. I noticed your family's on the website. I was going to ask you what was the easiest part in the development aspect, but it was probably involving the family. Is that accurate?
Yeah, but then no, family's gonna always be difficult. Put just my kids, yeah, you gotta put them along. But they did buy into the vision. They bought into the vision. We've done pop-ups pre-pandemic, and they would be there staffing because it takes a lot of energy and a lot of just awareness to bring those things and transport them. And logistics is the word I'm looking for. And so they all bought into. My youngest daughter helps me with marketing. My other daughter helps me with the inventory and all those things. So they bought it. And I even have a granddaughter, believe it or not. And Lawton, I tried to show her the business the other day, and I showed her how to do a sweatshirt, and she was like, I'm not impressed.
I've seen
this is for you.
I've seen some of those videos. She's adorable on your Facebook page. It's great. Now,
Thank you.
as if you don't have enough to do, we've talked about this before. You also have a podcast that touches on everything from social justice topics to ministry. What role has the podcast actually played with the business?
Marrying the two together. Again, the message we want to send out is, again, that we're a world-class city. We're real city, real people. And not even just from a workplace perspective, you and I work together, but we're real people beside that. And, last year, 2020 was just a year like none other. So I just felt the pull to get out there from my personality and from my leadership and motivational perspective to give people some hope. And so I've did podcasts on the social injustice to, like you say, to just encouraging people. I did game shows in the early pandemic just to give people an outlet and to touch people, because that's what we're all about. I tell people I don't want people to wear anything I wouldn't wear. But even speaking to that, I love people to be comfortable and be able to express themselves and put a message out there that is not just a brand, but it's a movement where you can be proud of who you are. And so that just turned into a podcast. I just took my personality and said, you know what, got out of my comfort zone and said, this is what we're doing.
Well, Eric's got that radio voice. He's easy to listen to. And I don't say this teasing. I say this in all seriousness. There are times where I'll have conversations with you, and it's like you're having a mentorship conversation. So I've even stumbled across some of your podcasts while I was scrolling through Facebook, and I sat there for 30 minutes. So I encourage anyone to check Eric out. Eric, where can people find more information about Detroit Made Incorporated?
There it is online, Detroit Made Inc. online or DetroitMadeInc.com. I have both URLs, so you can go to either one. We do have some zip up hoodies as well, but you'll see our whole lineup on DetroitMadeInc.com is a little bit easier than online. That was the first one. You asked what was easy, trying to navigate through all that web space and all that stuff. That wasn't easy, but now I also have the URL, DetroitMade.com.
I love it. Eric, I appreciate you a lot.
Sorry.
Yes, thanks so much for joining the show tonight. And I encourage everyone, you don't have to be from Detroit. Ava, we got to get you
I
one.
feel like I want to be proud to be from Detroit instead of Philly now.
Hey, you're here now. So if you're here,
Sure.
you're Detroit Made. Shout out to the University of Phoenix, great institution. Got my degree in 2011 through Comcast.
Well, thank you, Eric. We are proud to have you as an alumni, and very exciting. I wish you so well with this endeavor, and I know you're a valued employee and a great entrepreneur. Very exciting stuff.
Thank you. Lawton, you're doing a great job. You're my guy. Keep it up, man.
Hey, thanks a lot, Eric. I appreciate you. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Eric's a good guy. Listen, he's one of those people in the company. They're happy to have him, and I tell you, I got this sweatshirt. I told him I wasn't going to wear it until I had to host the show. And I'm not just saying this because Eric was just on, but this is a extremely comfortable sweatshirt. So even check it out. Our viewers, check out Detroit Made Incorporated. There's a lot. And I will say this too. The price is really good. He's often doing some sort of specials. But I thought the regular prices were very good compared to some of the stuff you see out there. So
I just love, the pride in your state, your city. I think, that they should just spread that and make a company for every city. Tell them.
Yeah. It was a great idea. I remember seeing early on, I saw some of his stuff and I was like, oh, that looks cool. And then once they came out with the purple and gold, I was like, oh, he's got some new colors. I got to check some of this stuff out. And it was an easy decision. And then, of course, offered for him to be on the show, and he gladly accepted. So glad to have him tonight.
It's growing.
Now, we said we got guest after guest. Our next guest,
I know, I'm so excited.
Really may be on to something when it comes to childcare. So let's introduce that next guest, Trina Boyd. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Hi.
this is such an interesting application that I heard when Ava was originally talking, we were in our production meeting, and she says, listen, I have this lady named Trina. She's got a babysitter app. And I'm like, well, we've got to hear more about this, because this is so interesting, especially for the times that we're living in. So my first question is really, how did the idea come about, and tell our viewers a little bit about what it is.
Sure. So the name of the company is Babysitters Inc. Initially, about, I would say like 6 years ago, I started when we moved to Charlotte. We were getting into date nights because we noticed it was not any companies in Charlotte that offered date night sitting. So that's what made us start the Babysitters with Charlotte. But about 3 years ago, we wanted to get more into corporate and expand our business outside of Charlotte. So that's how Babysitters Inc. came about.
So what do you say to those that may be guarded about using a babysitting service? And I say that with all due respect to, I mean, we're able to get into an Uber, someone's car,
Yes.
we don't know, right? We're okay with people door dashing our food, someone we don't know is going to pick it up. So how do you overcome any objections to that?
Well, I will say that I actually use the services myself. So I had a nanny over yesterday with my 3-year-old. So and then the screening process that we go through, I have the final say so in anybody that we hire. So yeah, we have a really extensive screening process when we're hiring someone.
Yeah, that was literally you're in my head. That was the next question I had, was how do you screen the babysitters? My next question is really, what is the best testimonial you've received so far with your business? Like the point where you heard it and you knew your business was making a difference.
Well, during the pandemic, one of my clients, she's a doctor. Her and her husband are doctors, and her nanny at that particular time couldn't, come in. So we were able to actually get another nanny, replacement nanny for her. So she was just like, I'm just so, happy I actually got the service because of that. Because we offer that guarantee, so you don't ever have to be inconvenienced, so that's really important to a lot of our clients.
So you mentioned you work with companies. I would imagine you go in and pitch to HR and talk a little bit about that process.
Yep. So we do corporate babysitting. We do, on top of babysitting, I do want to point out we do elderly care. We do pet sitting. So with the corporate babysitting is more so backup care. So if their regular childcare falls through, for example, if daycares are closed during the pandemic, a lot of daycares closed down. So a lot of people have been calling us just for nanny service, but the backup care is for emergency situations. So yeah, if their regular nanny can't come in, we come in, and then the company actually provide the benefit to the actual employees. So the company is actually paying for it. But we do have a part where the employees can actually pay for it as well.
Oh, looks like we have a question. How do you differ from Care.com? Are you familiar with that?
Yes, that's our competitor. Yep. We differ because we are cheaper than Care.com. We do our screening is we do face-to-face interviews, we do phone interviews, we manually do background checks. And we also have great customer service, but our prices are cheaper. Our prices are very competitive from Care.com, and the quality, I would say, the quality is awesome.
I love your marketing. I love your image. I saw you on LinkedIn, and I was like, an alumni of University of Phoenix. You hold your MBA, correct?
Yes.
We're 2 great alumni so far, so that's amazing. So just such a needed service. And I imagine you've worked with hundreds of companies out there. So what would you say to a company out there to tell them a little bit about yourself, to kind of sum it up and how they can reach out to you?
Yeah. So if you are a corporation, if you're a bank, a CPA firm, and you are looking for a great benefit to provide to your employees, we offer competitive rates. Our prices are competitive. We offer a variety of services. We offer child care services. We offer elderly care services, and we also offer pet sitting services. We offer it as a voluntary benefit, which means that your employees have the option to opt in on that, or we offer it as a corporate package. So if you all want to reach me, you can go to our website, babysittersincorporated.com.
Awesome. That is really good stuff, Trina. Is there an app that people can download on Android or iPhone yet?
Yep, we do have an app. It's
Okay.
Babysitters Inc. on Android. We're still waiting for the Apple Store to, push that through, but we do have an app. Yes.
You are on top of things. Very impressive and such a great idea and works very well with our time. So thank you so much for joining the show tonight, Trina. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, we're 2 for 2 for guests. So we got 2 for 2 on the University of Phoenix too. I know that makes you happy, right?
Yeah, I get all giddy about that. It's so great to see alumni out there doing their thing and such great ideas for both of them.
I remember hearing about this from you when we were talking about this. And at first I was a little wary. I was like, I don't know how I'd feel about that. But the more and more I think about it, the fact, like I mentioned, the DoorDash
you have
example.
Kids, right, Lon? You have like 100 kids?
I have 4. Sometimes it seems that like a lot. But yes, I can totally see where this works. I'm lucky that I'm able to work from home and as is my wife too. So we've been very fortunate in that regard, but I can imagine how tough that must be for some folks that have to go to work and your daycare is closed. And what a great service. That is really something to be talked about. I'm definitely going to check that out. That's
very progressive and yes, much needed. So excellent. So,
well, coming up, we have more great guests. We have Diane Mraz from the Cabana Candy Corner. She's going to join us right now. The magic of Anthony Salazar.
Things you can find in your refrigerator. We have an orange. We have a lemon. We have an egg. And we have, it's over here, a parakeet. Yes, that's where I keep them. Keeps them fresh. Now, this is Launchpad. Isn't he cute? He is a parakeet. And let me see if I can get him in a stand here so you guys can see. Can you guys see him okay? Perfect. And let's see if I can get him in his perch. Come on, hop on your perch. Come on. He doesn't want to go and get in his perch, but that's okay because he's got a larger cage right over there, but he's using that smaller cage just for the show. Now, I've had Launchpad for about 6 years, and he's specifically trained to do this one trick. I know. So don't try this at home. There you go. Let me play some music. Hold on 1 second. Music. Come on. Come on out. Come on. Come on. Orange. Lemon. Egg. Parakeet. All right. Okay. Watch the egg. The lemon. The orange. Watch. The egg. There he is! Thank you very much. Did you guys enjoy the show? Hold on, let me put this guy away. Wonderful.
All right, that was good. That was good. I like it. That's good stuff.
I saw it before, but I mean, it just, wow, astounds me how good he is. And yeah, I've seen him do all kinds of things, levitate people, split them in half, all the classics, but also some really great card tricks. And he can even do some crazy tricks on your cell phone now where he can see what you're looking at on your phone. Just insane and very impressive.
That was good. Yeah, and I know that we have talked about his small business of being a magician. It's just grown by leaps and bounds. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here tonight. He had a previous engagement, but he was gracious enough to send in the video. Now you talked to him this week, and you mentioned something about this video of every day of his life. So you got to tell our viewers this. This is a great story.
Yeah, it's really cool. I don't know about how many years he's been doing it. I want to say 1, 2, 3 years now, but I've been in them. I've certainly appeared. But he takes a video of 1 second every day of his life. 365 days a year. And then he meshes it together and puts it to music. And Anthony travels all over the world. I mean, I've seen him on islands, foreign countries, just everywhere because he does his show, his act on the road. So it's so impressive that he has that tenacity to every single day film 1 second. And you mesh it all together and it's just very impressive what he gets to do, what he sees, his life, whether it's the dentist or running on the treadmill or on a yacht or a cruise or where have you in the Galapagos Islands. He's doing something cool. So just someone thinking outside the box, doing amazing things, very inspirational. And I'm glad we could, see a little bit of that. But I recommend everyone follow him, actually.
Yeah, it's a great website. You saw it there just a moment ago. For booking info, you can go to salazarmagic.com. And that was a good trick. He's got a few others, so I'm not gonna tell you about them. You're gonna have to go to the website to check them out, but they're really good. And he is definitely very talented. I can see where he being a small business, I can see why his talent is going to take him very far.
Yes, and I believe he did answer a few of those questions. So sure.
Actually, we're going to encourage those. We have a Q&A with Anthony Salazar that'll be up on our Facebook site after the show, so you can check that out. If you're not already, search Hey That's Easy on Facebook and just like our page. You'll get notified when anything is posted or we go live with any of our shows.
That's right.
Now, Ava,
he filmed those questions and those answers. So yeah, check that out. I was impressed at his lifestyle and how he ran his business for the last few years.
Hey, we keep rolling because you got to tell our viewers about our next guest, Diane from the candy store. That's how you know her, but you have to tell the story of how you know Diane.
Oh my goodness. So Diane has the most quaint, just adorable little candy shop. Brings me back to my childhood. I had to stop in, and you just can't stop in a candy store once, especially when it's that close in proximity. But it brings me back to those days, penny candies. I know candy's not a penny anymore. That's for sure. But they also have an ice cream store, Cabana Ice Cream, Cabana Candy. And she's just so impressive. And they make such wonderful, beautiful things. And I'm just so delighted to have her. And I'd love to hear more, from her about her day to day. I know, again, another amazing entrepreneurial spirit out there surviving the pandemic and everything that's come about. So Diane, just tell us a little bit about how have you managed to survive this last year? What are some of the ways, I guess you could say, that you've managed to carry on through this pandemic? Who is your, average customer now? And tell me about some of the great things you're doing there at the candy store.
Well, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it. Yes, we do have a candy store in Haddon Heights, New Jersey. It's in a small town right outside of Philadelphia. We've been going for, I guess we've owned the candy store about 4 years now. My brother owns the Water Ice store next door. And just recently we broke through the wall so that you can go from one store to the other. We did that in March of last year. Actually, March 1st of last year, we broke through and opened. Business was great. Yeah. We had customers coming in and out, saying, oh, I didn't even know the candy store was here. We had a lot of traffic through the store, and then the pandemic hit. We actually had to shut down the store from mid-March all the way through till probably mid-June, end of June. when we were finally able to reopen. So we had no business at all for those. And Easter is one of our biggest candy months. So we missed the whole Easter season last year. But since we've reopened, we have that little town spirit, and we have a great community in Haddon Heights, and they've been very supportive of our small business. So we're slowly but surely working our way back. So
that's amazing. And I know we got some great footage of your store, actually. You have a lot of cool things in there. You have everything from gifts. I saw the cute little craft signs and jewelry and souvenirs and things like that. But you also have all the traditional candies. What are some of your best sellers? I mean, can you custom make items? I mean, we have St. Patty's Day coming up, but what are some of the things? I know you probably got hit at least pretty hard for a couple days for Valentine's, right?
yes, we did.
What are some of the favorites of your most popular?
Our most popular is our Asher's chocolate. That's in our big chocolate case. So we have everything from chocolate caramels to salted caramels to buttercreams. Chocolate covered pretzels are one of our most popular items. But you can come in. We have the gourmet pretzels. You see them at the bottom. So yeah, we have all different kinds of packages. Everything is weighed, so you can come in and get 2 pieces of chocolate, or you can get a whole pound of chocolate. It's just a matter of preference. So coming up, we'll have our Easter candy out, where we'll have our Asher's chocolate eggs. Coming up starting March 1st, we'll have our Irish potatoes for St. Patrick's Day. So
Irish potato. I'm not Irish. Sorry, you'll have to fill me in.
The Irish potatoes is like a candy that they make. It's very sweet, has a little bit of coconut in it, and it's rolled in cinnamon, and it's delicious.
Sounds delicious. Oh my goodness. I'll be back soon, Diane, for sure.
We also sell Johnson's popcorn where if you're from the Jersey Shore over in here, Johnson's popcorn is real popular down in Ocean City. They have a few locations down there, and we go down and bring it up, and we sell the Johnson's popcorn in our store as well. We also have saltwater taffies in season. So if people don't want to drive down the shore, they can still come get those shore favorites right here in Haddon Heights.
Wow.
Diane, I just have a quick question. Well, actually, it's twofold. One, do you have a lot of vintage candies in your shop? Like if I wanted some now and laters or some chuckles or something like that, do you have those in your store?
We do, and it's fun because people will come in and they'll just they'll say, "Oh, we're just coming in to browse," and they'll go, "Oh, I remember when we used to eat these. We used to have these, the Mary Janes, the licorice rolls, Razzles, all those kinds of things." So,
do you do any mail order stuff? Because obviously I'm in Metro Detroit, but if I wanted to get on your website, cabanacandycorner.com, do you guys do shipping? And
we don't do shipping at this time. We're all local.
Oh,
so,
gotcha. Okay. All right, so I got to come to Jersey Shore. I got to.
That's it right there.
Yeah, you did tell me though that you can make custom packages. I know I've gotten some things from you in the past though for business companies, business partners, so they can put together something by order and they can pick it up.
Yes, we definitely do pick up orders, which is something we started getting more into it during the pandemic when we were shut down. We started saying, "Hey, what else can we do?" So we really pushed our social media aspect with a lot of advertising on social media once we reopened. People can go on Facebook and order and come pick up at the store. We have it where they can call in and order, and we'll have it ready for when they come in case they're in a hurry or when the season's busy, putting those orders in ahead of time. We do a lot of pretzel trays. We did them at the holiday, at Christmas time especially. Oh, yeah. But we can always customize them for birthday parties or graduations. Those pretzel trays are awesome. So they're always a great treat.
I like the chocolate peanut butter ones. Anything peanut butter.
Well, Diane, I'll certainly say that your online presence is really good. I mean, I was able to navigate your Facebook page and the website very easily. And should you ever decide to do the mail order stuff, I think you're this close. Honestly, you're very close to being able to do that. Just a matter of if you want
logistics.
Yeah, it's a matter of doing it, I guess. Because I would have gathered from your site that was probably something that you could accommodate. So you're close. You're close to having Cabana Candy Corner in every city, right?
There you go. But
Maybe.
Their ice cream, their candy, so delicious. And
yeah, right next door we have Cabana Water Ice Company and ice cream. So yes, they go hand in hand.
well, they're much needed, and I hope the community can support you. And
We've had great
continue to
communities.
thrive. I know, yes, it's been so difficult with this pandemic, but we look to companies like yours, little shops, to stay strong for us, because we're going to be ready for you when it's over.
Yes, we thank you. We thank the community for their support. They've been great.
Absolutely. Shop local, right?
Yes.
Well,
Thank you.
Diane, we certainly appreciate you coming on, your time. Like I said, you have my word. If I'm in the area, I'm stopping in. I'm gonna get some old school candy and some of those recommendations of Ava's for sure.
Great. We'd love to have you stop in.
Diane.
Thank you.
See you
Thanks
soon.
for coming on.
Thanks for having me on.
Now I know you live pretty close by to that location, right, Ava?
Yes, I'm there quite a bit. I mean, actually, I want to come more, but the camera adds 10 pounds on. What can I say?
Oh my God! Yeah, that would be tough. I mean, that place is really quite. I had a good friend that owned a business very similar on the west side of Michigan, and the reason I asked that question is I thought it was really cool that he had all those old school candies in there, stuff that you hadn't seen in years.
He does. He has all of that. The candy cigarettes. I know that's taboo, but
Yeah.
like all those little penny candies that you remember from those days with the jars. I mean, you saw the videos. Obviously, what a cool idea, and I hope that many entrepreneurs still can have that spirit and carry on with those old-fashioned traditions that we have, and it will happen. We're going to bounce back.
Well, speaking of entrepreneurs and the season, 'tis the season.
Yes,
Wedding
that's
season
right.
is upon us. Engagement season usually wraps up about this time of year, and here we go. We embark on wedding season. And all right, so as a 24-year wedding vendor, I have some easy tips to offer tonight when planning your event next year. So a little history: I've been a mobile DJ for 24 years. Hard for me to say, hard for me to believe it's been that long, but just a great experience overall. And last year was a really telling year. We had a lot of events in the state of Michigan that were canceled, and really, I would say most events happened between July and October, and they were really wedged in there. And a lot of folks had to pivot strongly to get
the wedding cancellations and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we have a few that, from last year that rolled into this year. But I want to give some folks some advice. And this, I believe, is good advice. It's just things that I noticed from last year when we had to have those pivots. I walked into some really unique situations. So my first one, as you see on the screen there, power is everything. And what I mean by power is electricity. A lot of events were outdoor or at private residences. So what I would recommend is if you're thinking about doing an event like that, make sure you're powered up. Hire an electrician to come out and wire it properly for you. I would see a lot of breakers getting going off and lights going off and whatnot. It's a small thing you probably don't think about. You think, hey, I'll just plug it in and it'll work. And power is so important. One other example, I had the opportunity to DJ a wedding and a reception last year, and the wedding was in a very rural setting, I would say almost in the woods. It was a beautiful setting, and I could completely understand why the bride and groom picked it. When I got out there to set up, I realized there was no power for at least 1,000 feet, right? So what do we have to do in life? We got to pivot. Luckily, my truck has a plug, right? So I was able to run the entire ceremony off the plug of my truck. I would never recommend anyone to do that.
To you for somehow surviving that. That's terrible.
We made it happen. But again, probably something that the bride and groom were not thinking about at the time. So power is everything. Make sure it's very easy when you go to a banquet hall to have these events, right? Because they have all the appropriate power and they're up to code, but a private residence might not be. So highly encourage that. My second is let your vision and budget guide you. And what I mean by that is what is your vision for your party? Do you just want to have a laid back event? Do you want a supercharged dance floor? You have to understand what is your vision, what's important, and then know what the budget is. So for example, if your vision is to have a dance floor that is wild and crazy and a party all night type of situation, you probably don't want to overspend on things you can save on, and I don't want to list any specific vendors, but I will say this: look at your list, and if you're spending 4 times the amount on an item versus your entertainment or your photography or anything like that, you may want to rethink that, just because it may not comply with your vision. That's it. And then I think the last bit of advice, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's a mistake, but I think it's an easy route many party planners take, is they go with a one-stop shop, someone that can hire out, a photographer, a DJ, a video person, a photo booth, or anything like that. And what I would recommend to everyone is to hire your vendors independently, and preferably with references, like real life references, not just going on a site with a ton of reviews, because you can get, if you never meet the person and they still show up, it's kind of like hiring them from a service anyway, right? So I would always recommend those 3 things: power, electricity, that is so important. Let your vision, your budget guide you, and of course, hire independent vendors individually, and make sure you meet with them, and hopefully they can provide references. It's going to make life a lot easier in 2021 and 2022, because I know a lot of these folks, they postponed their event until it was a little bit of a safer time. So
I saw that. Are you still DJing, Lawton? Is that something you still do? Or
I still do it. Yeah. What's really interesting? This all came about when I'm like Eric, our first guest. I apparently don't have enough to do, right? So when I was in school, when I was at Michigan State, I had a friend that said, you got a lot of music, you should DJ. And I never thought to even do that. I had 2 other jobs I was working. That was the last thing I needed to add to my plate. So and this friend of mine brought me 2 applications, said, hey, there's 2 DJ companies hiring. You really should fill them out. And I was lucky. I got hired by one of the companies, and they did primarily wedding receptions. I had a great DJ trainer that just really he laid the foundation for everything I do today. And who would have thought, starting in 1998, dates me a little bit. It's 2021. I still enjoy it a lot. And I think the best part of it is that, people trust me to facilitate their night, and you only get one shot at it. Right. So I just feel so humbled by that. There's been so many parties and weddings and events, important events of people that I've been a part of. And for me, owning that small business, it's been a real honor. So still DJing. My initial goal was 25 years I would go. So next year we'll reevaluate and see if I still, want to do it. Cause I'm no spring chicken, Ava, this equipment.
You have natural talent. You are heavy. So young. No.
Yeah. Gosh,
you're right. So don't say it.
Roadies.
We're the same. We're in the same boat, Lud.
Yeah. But I wanted to really reach out to folks if you're planning a party. Yeah. And you can use our site. You can reach out. You can get in touch with me or email. I'm happy to provide any kind of advice. It's free. You can take it or leave it, right? So I'm more than happy to provide any advice, independently of, it doesn't matter where you're at. Yeah. Because like I said, when I first started, we were using, CDs, right? And that wasn't that long ago. And it was CD to CD. And now I'm using incredible functionality when you're talking about the digital aspect. How we get our music is so different than it was 10, 15 years ago. It's just incredible. It's been an incredible ride, like I said. So what's my go-to song to get the crowd dancing?
Good question.
There's probably 10 to 20, but I would say at a wedding reception, you have 2 options. One that can get people dancing. The audience participation dances are really good. Depending on, you have a young crowd, old crowd, your Cupid shuffle, wobble, that sort of thing. That always kind of seems to drive some folks to the dance floor. But every year that changes. I would say if you asked me that question in 2013, that was Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars. That would get anybody going, right? Oh, yeah. Shut Up and Dance With Me. That's another really popular wedding get started early on song. Anything Justin Timberlake related, I could go on and on. But I would say a mixture of those types of songs really gets people out there. I even remember, I think last year and the year before, Lizzo had a lot of popular hits. I mean, people would lose their mind when you would play Truth Hurts. So it really depends on the year. Music has evolved so much. It's just not really the same as it used to be in regards to the beats that are made. And then, I feel like, I feel like you're a lot younger than me, Ava, right? So, but I feel like we're from the same time, right? We had school dances. Like my kids don't go to school dances. They just don't.
Well, a lot of
they don't have those social engagements. And I remember being young, we used to go and dance. We had a fun time. It was a blast. And so I think some of that you're starting to see some of that now as you're getting, the 25 and 30-year-olds. They also went to school and they probably didn't dance a lot, or they just didn't do it. So getting folks to dance, it's usually people our age, a little bit older. Yes, we got a few younger folks out there, but that's what I see anyway in my.
What it's all about. It's fun time. So I'm so excited to see you in action someday.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming that we're still having weddings, but they're very socially distanced, outdoors, things like that. But as vaccinations come out and things streamline, but you can really you've offered some great advice tonight about kind of what to think about, though, if you are going to have that outdoor venue or try and do something that's outside the banquet hall type of setting.
Every state's different,
outside the box.
Yeah, they have to think outside. It's almost like if you're planning an event, you've got to think about every small detail, which you don't necessarily have to do when you're at a banquet hall, because they got linens, they have serving staff, they're going to make the food, the power is going to work, all that stuff. They have restroom facilities. Yeah. So one other last piece of advice, and then we'll close the show, that I didn't include in the top 3 is for outdoor events, if you want people to dance and stay under the tent, keep your stuff under the tent. And what I mean by that is I did a wedding one time where it made me really nervous setting up, because I looked out and I could see there was a bar set up over here outside the tent about 20 feet. There was one over here set up about 20 feet. I saw a fire pit. I saw horseshoes. I saw a photo booth about 20 feet away from the tent. And I felt like there was a lot of things there saying, go outside the tent and go check these things out. Luckily, that wedding was awesome as far as a dancing perspective. We had a really good time. But I would think logistically, those are important things to think about when you're setting up your party. Yeah. And I would encourage, I like wedding planners a lot, and they actually have day of planners that will run your show for you. Kind of takes a lot of weight off your plate, or anybody else that you might appoint. Someone that's professional that knows what they're doing. That's always a good value add as well. So,
such great advice. Well,
hey, we try here.
Listen, what don't you do, Lawton? What don't you do? Jack of all trades.
Plate is full, Ava. Let me tell you.
We're have to showcase, more of your talents in the future, and I'm just so excited for the show. What a great show! My goodness, I
encourage anyone, if you haven't liked our Facebook page, do that. Go onto our YouTube page, subscribe, join us for episode 4. That's coming up on March 16th, and our theme is Get Inspired. So that should be really interesting. Got a lot of great stories, a lot of things coming in right now that we're producing for that show. To all of our viewers and guests, we thank you.
Thank you.
Ava and Dari, I'm Lawton Luntz. Thanks so much for watching. Hey, that's easy.